All right, I am back with Harvest Moon. Let's see, we just started summer. The goal for today is probably get through at least halfway through summer. That would be the ideal target here. We already saw this message. Apparently my dad's coming over next year. He's worried about me, so he let me know a year in advance that he's coming to visit. There's Mom, one of my children. The other one is in the belly. He just got pregnant. The dog, for some reason, is stuck. Okay, there we go. Whatever. I don't need to pick you up today. Your goal is 308. It's a very specific number. Fody is here. I can finally show Fody their cow. That'll be the first thing I do here. Do. All right, so let's see. Which of the two is Fody's cow? It's one of these two on the top left. This one? Nope, that's Bank Link. This one. There we are. There's your cow. Do I have my cow tools? I do. I don't remember who needs to be... I think it's just Fody and Bankalink, I think, that need the, happiness building. Everyone else is at maximum. Your favorite number is 308? I see. Yeah, there's a Fody cow. If you're wondering why that happened, it was because if you didn't do it on purpose, I don't know if you did it intentionally, but if you link up if you're a subscriber on the channel and you have your channel linked up to your Discord, there's a list that you get put on for being named, for having things named after you in games. And I noticed you were on there. Oh! You know, I was wondering when I needed to charge this thing. I probably should have done it sooner. That was a low message battery. And Turtle has reached an 85 stream streak as well. The three of you, man. Will one of you ever fall? That's the question. What? Oh, shoot. This is something plugged into my PC. And my PC's eating it. I need to use this cable instead. My bad. I didn't start the timer. Whoops. So let's see. Hopefully I can do... I'm hoping I can do about 15 days. I do have to buy a bunch of seeds today, but it will be the only day of summer I have to buy seeds, because summer seeds are less annoying than, spring. You have a 6th street? Yeah, that is a start. You gotta start somewhere. The three of those... Oops. Dang it. The three of those, Dr. Bot, Fear Navigator, and Turtle, I think all have the maximum possible right now since they started the feature. So it'll be interesting to see if it lasts. Hello, Nino. Hello, Bankalank. Welcome, welcome. How's your cow doing? Perfectly fine. In fact, she's laying the best milk possible. Hasn't gotten sick since the incident. Did I say laying the best milk? How's Bank doing? Bank is also doing good. Not at the happiest cow rank yet, but you are the newest cow in the barn, so that doesn't surprise me. I think you have reached the 2nd tier, though. 2nd tier, though. Let's double check. You're one of these 4. Probably this one. Yeah. You are currently producing the 2nd tier milk. Just one more level left, and then you'll be at maximum. Boy, this barn wasn't so laggy. Oh, the Wiimote? Oh, great. Oh, the cows are making things even more confusing. I think it's this one, then? Yep. If I skipped cows, that would seriously make this go so much faster. But you also do get quite a bit of money from cows. What do I think of the number 1.79E308? I think absolutely nothing of it besides, oh, I guess that's the Pearl's favorite number. Sorry, I got no deep attachment to it. Did I get them all? I don't remember. Dude, this takes too long. You want a Harvest Moon cow plushie? That would make for a pretty good one. Man, is it just me or is it even laggy in here than usual? Do-do-do-do-do. I did some math on when I think I'm gonna finish this game. Let's see, it's probably, let me see if I can remember what I said. It was 2 months per spring and summer, and then I said 1 month for the last 3, or like 1 for fall and 1 for winter, but honestly, it's probably safe to add another stream buffer to that estimation, so that'd be 2 more for this one, 3 for the rest of the year, and 4 for next year. So that would be 9 more streams, roughly. Is my guess. What's my favorite number? I don't know if I have one, honestly. Oh, I thought you were begging there for a second, Banklink, but you're saying someone just gave you one to another stream? No, I'm in summer. I just finished spring. Took me 2 streams to finish spring of year or 2, so I'm expecting 2 more for this year. And then not as much for fall and winter, but probably... it seems like it would be hard to do a single month, and with how slow those cows are, I have a really hard time imagining I can do a fall and winter each in a month, so it'll probably be more like a stream and a half for each of those. That's my guess. What's the worst game I've played so far design-wise? There's a handful of games I really haven't liked. If you type !worst, I think they'll show up to help me remember what my lowest rated games are. I can tell you why they're each bad. If anyone wants to pop a !worst, no, that's the best games. Wait, is it not worse? Oh, no, worst with a T. There you go. Let's see. Super Team Games was one of those exercise games we played the other day. It was just incredibly janky and didn't even feel like it hardly worked. Rescue a Princess Blobette was, a game with some... It's built off of, a Boyna's Blob, which I think has good ideas, but really janky execution, and Princess Blobette is just even jankier. I straight up, at one point, fell outside the wall and got stuck in the background because it was so broken. Plus, the blob constantly ran just off cliffs on his own, and that was very frustrating. Star Wars for the Game Boy. Oh, that game. It just was, I don't know, the physics and level design and everything about it was just so poorly made. Like, there was, if you attacked to the left with a lightsaber, your swing was so bad that it wouldn't even go forward. Like, your character would reel back so far to swing his lightsaber that it was literally impossible to hit enemies from the left. And, one of those games where it's too zoomed in, and I don't know, everything about it was just kind of abysmal. Nigel Mansell's World Championship Racing, that one was... this racing game that was like first-person racing on the Game Boy, and it was a game where it had far too much ambition for how it actually played. Frame rate was terrible. You could barely tell what was going on. Yeah, it was like, it was brutal. Elite Soccer was just a really bland soccer game, and it didn't play very well either. It both controlled poorly and was super boring. So, kind of the epitome of my least favorite type of sports game. Street Fighter 2 Now, this has some fans in chat even, but Street Fighter 2, it just had such a bad... Like, it looked good, but it had such a bad frame rate. It was rough. 5... I already lost count. 6... And really bad input delay. Really bad frame rate and a really bad input delay. To me, it was just... I already don't like fighting games that much. So, a fighting game where I could barely feel like my inputs could get read was just not my thing. Not my jam. Toy Story. It was just, I don't know, the epitome of a poorly made, cheap port to a Game Boy of a licensed game. The licensed game was already a bit shaky for me. And then the port was just like, again, terrible frame rate, hard to even see where I was half the time, screen crunch, it just had everything. I don't know if I'm counting this right. I think this is 15. I'm probably overcounting though. I already don't remember. You know what? I probably have. Well, whatever. We'll see. I haven't really liked a lot of the Disney Game Boy stuff. They've all been pretty meh. They've ranged from, like, not very good to very not good. The Super Nintendo's been a bit lucky. Well, lucky. It's a bit back and forth, but, or, like, they're not fantastic, mostly, but they're definitely been better than the Game Boy ports. There's been some that are good, too. They were best on the NES, frankly. Five... 6... 7... 8... 9... 10... 11... 12... 13... 14... 15... 16... 17... 18... So there is one problem. I might get wrecked by a storm again. 19... And I'm already, like, over what I can handle. So part of me wants to have, like, more farmland planted for this stuff, but oh well. If I get hit by a storm, I'll just deal with it. Do. Oops, wrong building. Today will be the longest day of the month because of all that seed planting. That'll only be for today. We'll still have to take regular trips to the... hot springs. Which one are these? I don't even remember. Whatever one I grabbed second. Kind of want to make sure I have enough of everything, but I might run out of time today before I can even figure that out. Let's see. Having one day late wouldn't be too bad, because, you know, there's not like I can pull everything out on the first day they all become, harvestable anyway. So, it's not the end of the world if I'm a little late on this. Well, I had enough of those. Did I buy extra tomatoes? I did not. I was exact on the tomatoes. Corn, though, I'm less certain on. This was the first one I did. I didn't feel as good about this. Imagine how much easier it would be if you could, like, buy 20. You know, talking about farming sims and stuff, Pocopia is reviewed pretty well. I'm kind of interested in getting it, but I'll be honest, right now, for reasons some of you might be able to guess, I'm not totally in the mood for another, like, life sim kind of game. Big surprise there. I did buy 2? Ouch. It's gonna be too late though, isn't it? This looks too late. Yep. Wah, wah, wah. That's not a huge deal. I mean, it's kind of annoying, but because it means I have to run all the way back here tomorrow, but it's not too bad. It's so weird that so first off, it's funny that Nintendo even published that game to begin with, Quest for Camelot. And the fact that it was like one of the first things they added to the NSO is really funny too. Are they just listed as the publishers on it? Let's get this first, actually. Like, does Nintendo just still completely own the rights to that game? Somehow? I feel like they had to have worked with the original IP owner, too. Apparently, seeing that frog increases my happiness. 3, 4... Hello, Lloyd. Yep, I am playing Harvest Moon. Well, I'm talking about specifically on the Switch Online. There's a, there's an info page where it lists who, like, is the owner or publisher or something. I'm not exactly sure what they refer to it as. Like, for example, Nintendo's own name is on Super Tennis, despite not being the original. Or, like, there's some that are different in Japan and the US. So it does, like, regional ownership and stuff is a thing on it. Quest for Camelot. I'm assuming it's Nintendo, but I'm slightly curious. Because it's not like they own the IP to the franchise. Or to the you know, Quest for Camelot. I don't think first party necessarily means anything. For example, like, again, there's things that are different than the original thing back in the day. Like I said, Super Tennis was Nintendo on the NSO, but Super Soccer wasn't, despite the fact that those are both third-party games in Japan that Nintendo only published in the West. It is credited to Nintendo. That's what I thought, but I was curious. The Switch has an extra information page that's not necessarily the original publisher of the game. It's like who owns it now kind of thing. It's the thing Nintendo absolutely published it originally. I'm curious about the Switch screen on the NSO, which is about who published it now, who owns it now. Or I think it's published it now. It's not necessarily the same as who it was back in the day. So, for example, if you look at, like, what's an example? This game, well, actually, no. Does this one say Natsume? I don't think it does, right? Actually, no, I can't remember. Some of the games have changed on the Switch from what they originally were because of ownership changes and stuff like that. So this one does say Natsume. What's the, but in Japan, it doesn't, right? It says Marvelous. There was an example of one that did not originally. That's not the same the original developer. What was I thinking of? Or the original publisher. I've definitely seen it. I was looking at it the other day a bunch. Usually it's because of ownership changes and stuff over the years, but... Acclaim games are like that. It's actually interesting. When you look at the publisher, it's a pretty small net. Like, you start to realize, oh, a lot of these games we have are because it's the same few publishers working with Nintendo. What about if the next extra content you add a column with multiplayer content like beat the game co-op or do Imagine 2-player? I've thought about it. Or like add something to say what we did with multiplayer. I'm not completely committed to wanting to do that yet, but I've thought about it. Played on Sega, I remember at least, and it was like a path where you fought bosses. Yeah, I've got no idea. Okay, this dog needs to not be in the bedroom. I was doing that to make it easier to pick him up, but that's a little bit annoying. He's very... Oh, that was a new thing. Dang it, I missed it. He's very active. Something or other. Yeah, so there's a discrepancy. All I'm trying to say is the original publisher of a game is not necessarily the one listed on NSO. If, like, rights have changed and stuff like that. Interestingly, the Tetris games all still have Nintendo on it, which makes me think they just did the publishing for the Switch versions, just, you know, working with the Tetris company. Hello, Suji. Finally made it. Oh, interesting. Does 3D Tetris not say Nintendo? I haven't actually looked at that. Thoughts on the Indie Direct? I didn't even watch it. I just check the highlights. That's all I ever really do for Indie Directs. Nothing different about this one, really. Oh, I don't have my cow tools. Now it's 6 songs out, I don't care about indies anymore. So am I winning? I've kind of weird question for this game. I mean, I've basically done everything I need to do. I'm just trying to see how high of a score I can get at this point. How much money I can make. I do need to buy more corn. Oh, it's actually credited to T&E Soft. Interesting. Not even the Tetris company. Is T&E Soft still around? Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Is that really fair to the game? Is what fair to the game? Trying to max out my money? Oh, it is also Nintendo. You're good, Lloyd. False alarm. Why would Tetris 2 come? I don't know, because they own the rights to Tetris. I wasn't sure who else would have done it. You're not really experiencing new features. I still don't exactly get what you mean. Like, there is an ending eventually, and I'm working towards it, so I'm gonna keep playing the game until I get to that point. That's how the game is intended to be played. Wait, did Foding make the biggest milk? Did I check? I think Fody might be done. Wasn't paying enough attention. I don't plan on just skipping it, Apparel. I talked about being tempted to, but I don't plan on doing that right now. Nope, there is an ending. After 2.5 years, your mom and dad come to visit, and the game ends. Big surprise, Fody. They all are. It's a cow. If I'm gonna get milk from these, that might be a requirement. Oh, no, 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 no. Do. Bum. Find it interesting that Nintendo is the publisher of Super Tennis on the NSO. That's an interesting kind of oddity. Who published it back in the day originally in Japan? I need 2 more corn. Man, it has been almost half an hour already, and I'm on day 2. So I am not doing a great job at beating this in doing 15 days today. They did, Fody, but there's been other games that Nintendo published in the US and Europe that are not listed as Nintendo on the NSO. So, for example, Super Soccer wasn't, despite being one that Nintendo published in the US and Europe. Other examples would be like, does Shrek count as Nintendo? No, it does not, Apparel. That's why I think, again, I don't think the info page is, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think the info page is original publisher at all. I think it's current publisher. I think it's who actually published the NSO release, basically. So I think Nintendo published the Super Nintendo release on the NSO. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but again, I don't think it lists, I'm not sure it lists just who it was back in the day. It was Tonkin House originally, huh? Vincent Dubois with the 20 stream streak. Was Tennis that popular in the US? I don't know. Yeah, maybe they own the trademark or something like that, because it was probably called, I imagine it was maybe called something different originally. Kind of like how... Kind of like how something like, I don't know. The fact that Quirk, the video I'm working on, seems to really be an acclaimed creation, despite the fact that Atlas made the games originally, but the character of Quirk, the cool tomato-looking dude, is an acclaimed character, really. I'm not even sure what those are, Vincent Dubois. Those officially published by Nintendo things? 1 and 2. Who is Atlas? Have you heard of Persona? They're the ones who make Persona. They're a pretty big developer these days. It's also Atlas with the U for some reason. That depends then, Nintendo bought did Nintendo themselves publish it, though? Or was it just Monty that did? Because if it was just Monty that did, then no, that does not count, even if they're the official distributors. Oh, there's a day I forgot here. That's kind of annoying. Can I play non-Nintendo games if I ever get done? I don't think I'll ever be done. I won't rule out anything, because that'll be like 20 years that I at least catch up, and then... Well, maybe not 20 years, actually. That'd be the summary videos. But I can... There's plenty to do in these games that I haven't done, so I can go back and play... extra content, 100% more games that I didn't, do harder difficulties. There's, more edge case games I can play, games with Nintendo IP in them, like, you know, Mario Teaches Typing or Soul Calibur, stuff like that, which I guess technically aren't Nintendo published, but I kind of plan on still sticking with this concept forever. Yeah, if Nintendo wasn't actually the one selling, or if they weren't the one publishing the games in China or in like Hong Kong and China, then it wouldn't count if it was Monty doing it. Hello, Confused Mister. Welcome. It's funny, Atlas. I'm spoiling a bit of my Quirk video, but Atlas is gonna show up a handful of times throughout the challenge, but never through Persona because that was Sony exclusive for so long. But like, I'm gonna be playing a couple of Shin Megami Tensei games. I'm gonna be playing a Trauma Center game or two. Snowboard Kids is Atlas. I already played Rockin' Cats. I'm gonna be playing an Etrian Odyssey game, the first one, I believe. I 30 years in the future, again, I highly doubt I have any. There'll be more I can do in the games I've already played and stuff. I really don't. I currently have zero plans to do anything else. If something does change and I actually absolutely run out of Nintendo stuff to do, then I'll see then. But I currently have zero plans because I don't think that's gonna happen. And if it does happen, then I can make the plans then. Do I consider them to be different? Kinda, yeah. I mean, maybe Persona's a spin-off, but... I consider, at the very least, I would say... I wouldn't count Mario Party as Super Mario, and I wouldn't count Super Mario as Mario Party, but they're both Mario. So at worst, it's a situation like that. Snowboard Kids is Atlas, yep. I was kind of surprised to see that, too. Would I consider Wario Land to be Super Mario? The first Wario Land or the Wario Land franchise? Actually, honestly, as a whole, probably not. But if it's Nintendo licensing their IP to other companies to publish games, then that's something similar to, you know, Mario Teaches Typing or something like that. In which case it does not qualify. Did I feed my cows? I think I did. The answer to is the first Wario Land part of the Super Mario franchise is the same answer of is Yoshi's Island part of the Super Mario franchise. It's that weird edge case where it started off as it being named as one, but it spawned its own spin-off series. But I think Nintendo themselves has been inconsistent with that in what they categorize as qualifying and what they don't. Boo-boo. Wait, did I plant that corn? Or did I completely forget? Did I even water my crops? No, I definitely did. But did I plant that corn? I did. Okay. I'm just dumb. I'm ultimately going to refuse to answer those questions about Wario Land and Yoshi's Island because I don't really have a... I don't really know. I guess I tend to not think of them as part of it just because they feel like more part of their spin-off franchises, but I guess I could be convinced to say they're a bridge between the two. It's a weird question of how much our franchise is based strictly off the name of the series versus how they actually play. Because from a gameplay standpoint, Yoshi's Island, Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island is obviously much more closer to Yoshi's Island DS than it is to Super Mario World. Yet, Yoshi's Island DS is often not considered part of Super Mario just because it doesn't have the name. Yeah, technicality kind of games, the ones that like are on the edge, that is a late game, a late challenge thing I could do once I finish. Do 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 do. I don't think it matters that much ultimately in the end, though. What's an interesting one? There's some video. There's a guy who's done a couple of videos on it on YouTube on what people consider what counts as Super Mario or not. They're actually kind of interesting videos. I like them. He talks about Nintendo's non-consistent definitions themselves, and some of the weird, like, edge case games. Like, is Bowser's Fury a Super Mario game? Also, the fact that Nintendo themselves often have considered Mario Maker part of the Super Mario franchise, but fans often don't consider Super Mario Maker to be part of the Super Mario franchise. Or at least Nintendo has considered them that in the past. I don't know if they still do. Okay, I need to pay more attention. Does Fody have the biggest milk now? Do. Not so much variety on the Switch, too? I don't know if I totally agree with that. We've had a platformer in Bonanza. We've got Pokopia coming up. We've had RPGs. In ZA, we've had FPS adventure game in Metroid Prime. More variety than a lot of other first party from other companies. Do 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 do. Wait, I'm so confused. Have I why does it feel like I haven't... Was it the biggest milk? I was gonna pay more attention and then I completely failed. Oh my goodness. Bump, bump. It was not the biggest milk? Okay. You did distract me, Nino Nino. I don't know, what other kind of variety do you want? I felt like I've gotten plenty of different kind of games so far. Not everything, but it's still kind of early. You just want 3D Mario, 3D Zelda. So it's not variety, really, then. You just want those two franchises in particular. Ba-ba-ba-bum, ba-da-da-da-da. Do, 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 do. Oh, there's other financial avenues. There's crops, too. They're currently growing. We'll see more of that in a bit. Green pin. And actually, you can forage on the mountain, too. But it's not, you don't get a whole lot of money for it. You can also go fishing, but you don't get a whole lot of money for it. These are the best late game options. So there's a little more. It's just most of what you're seeing now. Oh, wait, you said farming? Oh, I thought you meant chicken and cow farming. I misread that. Okay, yeah, I understand. Yeah, it definitely feels, it does feel a little primitive in what you can do in this game, though. I would still agree with that. Do. I would definitely say I've hit a point where I'm feeling like I wish there was a little more to do in the game. Well, I guess I do. I really want my days to take even longer. Not necessarily, but... Do I think we'll get to a point where Nintendo, or all Nintendo published Switch ones? Probably not. Although, they have been slowly adding more of them, so maybe. I kind of doubt it, though. Especially because I don't think all games need it. Like, some games perform just fine on the Switch one. So I kind of have some doubts that when Nintendo would consider some of them worth putting the effort in to enhance, but it depends, Turtle, on... I guess it first somewhat depends on what do you mean by fully take advantage of. And it also kind of depends on if the game has a hard capped frame rate or not. You know, resolution bumps and all that. I kind of doubt it. I'm hoping all the major ones that where it matters will, but we'll even see if that's true. How's the grind going? Good. I'm, just slowly making my way through this game. I actually, do I realize it's almost painful to just say this, but it's true. Summer, this is actually the halfway point through the game. I've gone through 5 out of 10 seasons. I'm on the 6th season now. How many times have I sweared on stream? I don't swear on stream. I don't think I ever have. Unless it was on accident. Like I said the wrong word. I don't really curse. Even outside of stream, really. Does Adam bump my stamina up when he eats like that? I don't think so, because I just fell down already. That is not true, Dr. Bot, because 19 hours of those were me losing progress. Do. I lost all my progress in Harvest Moon. Honestly, no, it didn't even enter my mind. Like I said, it's just, I don't really curse. Do. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good enough. Do. Do I skip through some seasons? I don't think so. I mean, winter will be a lot of snoozing early, but I'll still at least manage my animals. I have to, or else they'll die, and I'll lose happiness. And then I won't get the perfect ending. Well, ultimate ending. I don't know, perfect's quite the right word. Okay, let's see. Double check the cows are fed. Don't want them to get sick. There we go. Can I add a fast forward so you can see the end? Wait till the video goes up on YouTube, I guess. Do. Boo-boo. How long does it take? How long is she pregnant for? Is it 1 month or 2 months? I don't remember. It's 2 months, right? So at the start of winter, that's when she'll give birth. How long till that? I estimate that it will not be until... My current estimation is 9 more streams, including today. So Tuesday, the 17th. That is my current guess. If I had to guess, it could be less. How heartbreaking would it be if I did all... I'd be pretty bummed. I don't know what I could, it's probably my happiness stat that would mess me up. I wouldn't play the game again, though. I'd say I tried and failed. I'd live with it, live with that. Well, technically, 2 months in this game is 2 seasons, so... Maybe under that understanding, it's not quite as bad. No, wait, that would still be, what, 6 months? I guess it's better than 2 months. What score would I give Harvest Moon currently? I don't want to spoil that, because at the end, I do a new thing where I show the game I beat, and we might even start doing bets on what people think I'm going to give the game. So, I don't want to spoil it. Sorry. I do have a score in mind, but I'm going to save that one for later. Yeah, gambling unless apparently you're in certain parts of Europe or something. Who was it that someone here said they couldn't get the points. I don't remember who. Like they could participate but couldn't actually bet points. All right, I'm going to pay attention this time. Why do I have a sickle in my hand? Yeah, you lost your points last stream. We could do another one. You guys want to do another bet on whether or not we'll see birds tomorrow morning? We haven't seen any birds yet today. You lost everything last time. Can you even see birds in the summer? I think you can. Maybe someone should double check that. Sake of sickles, har har. We could try to think of another thing I could do. What other RNG things are there, though? Can't even think. We could place a bet if I'll see a natural disaster. But wait, that was a big milk from Fody, wasn't it? Or was that the first cow I just checked? I don't know. Bank Link still has medium. Yeah. You've got the biggest milk, Nino. Everyone does now except for Bank Link, I think. Bet on if I get to fall, that will not happen. Bet on whether or not they'll produce big milk. That's not random, though. Excuse me. You can definitely figure that one out. Maybe we should wait until we see birds at least once in the summer, and then we can do a bet once we confirm that they do appear in the summer. Most of the cows at this point are making the best milk. I think it's just Bank Lake now, because that's the newest cow. Doot, doot. You put 100K on birds tomorrow? You found a website that says birds show up in every season? Alright, we want to do it now? Alright, go ahead, do it. We'll do this like once per stream. Now, just so you guys know, birds show up at the start of the day. You get extra luck if you see them. I think they're less likely to show up than not, but I'm not actually sure about that. I've had sometimes where I've seen it multiple days in a row. So go ahead and place your bets. Will I see the birds tomorrow morning? I don't think it's a 1 in 30. Last time we did this prediction, they ended up appearing. So even though it is less likely for them to appear, it can happen. Oh, we can also bet on rain, but we haven't seen rain, like, in years. Literally, we haven't seen it since the previous year of this game. Suji voted this time. Dun -dun. Holy moly, a lot of points are going in on no. Well, if with how many people are voting on no, the people who vote yes, and if there is birds, you'll get a lot of money. I'll have to end the prediction myself. Okay, I can do that. I've got a tab for that. It's like Omega squished on the side of my screen right now, but I can pull it up. Oh my goodness, there is so many points going in on no. If the birds do show up, there's a lot of points going to the person in bum, 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 bum. You're on phone, so imagine you bet 100K in spirits. I don't know. It depends, Apparel, on who else voted in the one category. There's a couple other factors that go into it that I don't quite understand, but I think so. I think you'd get a lot of it if you bet 100, like you said. I do not know how many potatoes I have. That's another annoying thing about the potatoes I have left over. Three, 4, 5, 6. Whoops. Oh, I was good. Froggy. Extra luck. I guess that's another thing we could bet. Will I see a frog in the grass I cut? That seems a little more likely, though, because I'm cutting 6 of them. And, of course, my corn is now off sync, which is annoying, but whatever. I can roll with it. How many do I want to pluck of this a day? A lot. I forgot that this grows every 3 days. So maybe I did plant way too much. Oh well. If there's a typhoon, I'll be prepared for it. Because there's absolutely no way I'm going to be able to fully harvest all this every day. For 3 days. Or like in 3 days. You bet 50? Oh, someone else bet more than you, then they'll get a... Oh, excuse me. Someone else bet more, so they're going to get a bigger cut, if it is yes. But not too many people did, so you'll still get a lot of it. Oh, you bet 50 on the frog. Oh, so you're the only one who's bet on the birds. You got burnt out from last, so just so everyone knows, last time Apparel voted no on the birds, and the birds did show up. Apparel lost everything they owned on the birds. So now they're voting for the birds, and I think they're the only one that did. So if we don't get birds tomorrow, then you're just cursed. Oh, 2 people voted yes? Oh, maybe someone else did it since I looked. I can't see where's the total points? The little notification for me disappeared. Let me pull this up. Oh, yes, I do see 2 people. Oh, someone only put 20 in. Someone put 20 in. What? Wait a minute. This is bad. Nino, why'd you tell me to do this? Because that actually, I think, affects potentially my wife relationship if I talk to the other girls and do the questions. I'm not sure, though. Someone said that, but they weren't very reliable. They also said something else that was untrue, so I don't totally believe it. I've actually seen her in there before and talked to her, but that was a different message this time. All right. I should have enough. Wait, did I not finish up there? No, I did. It just looks different because of the seeds. I'm going to have too many crops to harvest. We're almost there. Once I go to bed, we'll see if we get the birds. What if they're more likely in certain seasons than others? I still can't believe we haven't seen it rain once yet. Oh, hey, I'm remembering to swap to my cow tools. Pretty soon, I'm not going to need to bring the brush in anymore. However, I do always still need the sickle and the sprinkler. I guess it'll be easier once fall rolls in. I will only need the sickle and the milker. Do-do-do-do. Alright, here's for the moment of truth. Even Lloyd's rooting for the birds. No. No birds. Well, looks like you're cursed, Apparel. Because that does not look like birds. Unfortunately, all of y'all that bet big in the no, you guys didn't win a whole lot. Because not a whole lot of money was put into no. Wiimote was the other believer. All right, I'm gonna double check. Fody, you're giving big milk now, right? Yes, okay. So I do not need to brush Fody anymore. Banklink is not giving the biggest milk yet. Apparel has yet to win a bet on my stream. I see a 2 next to you. Are you kidding me? Wait, what is Dr. Bop doing up here? Jeez, okay. Hello, Sir Blue Knight. Oh, I haven't, right, I forgot I have to do this. No birds. I totally forgot I had to do that part. I don't know which one I just milked there. I think it was the other cow. This one's eyes didn't get happy. But I maybe already milked this. I think I did. Yeah, I did already milk bank. You got a profit of 1. A bunch of y'all just bet 11. Who's the one that built like 1,000,000 points then? Wait, I can see the details. What? Oh, that's something else. How do I see this? How much did you get in return then, Lloyd? Did you get 2001? I forgot to feed everyone today. First thing. Someone bet big. Someone bet, like, tens of thousands. Was that you, Nenson Dubois? I think I see your name up as one of the top ones. So you probably got 4 points for it. Because you did bet a little higher than some. Someone raked in a lot. Well, not a lot. Considering not a whole lot was bet. Wait, is that everyone now? What is Wiimote doing in that? Dude, the cows are out of control here. Whatever, I've milked enough. Get the satisfaction of gambling. I'd almost do more with this game, but I don't know. I feel like trying to doing a bet on the birds every single day seems like that would get old. Strat is to winning is betting against a barrel. Yep. That's the way to do it. Ba-ba. Well, the cow moved diagonally 8 by 8 tiles in 3 minutes from now. You know what would have been funny if to do a bet on whether or not I remember to give my wife an egg, but I feel like I've been pretty good about it right now. Gasping? Do you mean yawning? That's gasping. Is demonically evil. Sure. Do. Now you got me yawning even more. Congrats. Guess I'll never sleep again. Can I play this game you heard of called Harvest Moon? I don't know, man. I feel like it might get kind of repetitive after a while. And I've heard that your file can erase and you start over from scratch. And I don't know if that's just the kind of chaos I want to deal with in this challenge, you know? What? What happened to the last feed? Did I miss? Did I give it to a chicken on accident? Do. I probably missed then. I call that the Nenson Dubois effect. All right, last batch of grass. Dude, if I heard only chicken noises when I stepped in there, I feel like that would just give me a headache. Man, I can't stop yawning now. Come on. Oh, excuse me. I can't stop gasping now. Yeah, you do have to go on to change your tools. It's not too bad. Though, honestly. You can hold at least 2 at once. Also, being in a house doesn't take up any time, so at least in game time. Can I quit it? What, this game? Nope. That's not how this challenge works. I mean, I guess it's not ideal, or like, I don't know if that would be my choice of how I would want to play this game. If you gave me the choice between having to go to the house to swap or not, but I don't find it too time consuming. It can be annoying sometimes though when I forget to swap tools before something. Do. Ah, it's still daytime. Eventually, I won't be going up here during the day at all anymore because I'll be harvesting all day. Doo-doo. One, 2, 3, 4. And I sort of understand the purpose of it. 5, 6, 7, 8. It's to like 9. It's to like make sure, you know, if you go out to the mountains, you bring the tools that you only want to use for your current trip, you know, and stuff. And it kind of, I can see how it adds to the whole managing your time aspect, but I still don't know if I ultimately love it. Efficient bathing? Yeah, I know, right? Every time you step into the water is what actually heals your stamina. So all you have to do is hop in and out like that enough times and you're good. It's kind of goofy. Each step in it refills 20, I think, stamina. And I have 200 now that I have all the berries, all the power berries. Can you rank all the games I dislike from F to S? Is S a game I dislike the most, or is that the game I dislike the least? I also don't know if I can. I've tried to pick like a least favorite of that batch, and I don't know if I can do it. They're all kind of bad in their own unique ways. What was my most and least favorite Game & Watch? That's a bit hard. Least favorite is easy. That was, Actually, no. Is it easy? It's either Pinball or Game & Watch Boxing. Or Game & Watch Punch-Out. Whatever you want to call it. One of those two. Probably Pinball was worse, though. Let me make sure I'm not betraying my own ratings here, though. Yeah. I'll give those both 3s. I think Pinball is my least favorite of all of those. Did I feed my cows in the end? Because I remember I was late. Okay. Best Game & Watch is a little harder. I have a few that are contenders. I like Vermin quite a bit. Vermin is definitely up there. Might be Vermin. There's a couple, like I liked Super Mario Brothers as well. But I think it might just be Vermin. I like how fast that one is. I like Lifeboat too. thought this game was new? I don't know why you would think that. No, this game is 90, what am I in right now? 95, 96? I don't even remember. It depends on what you count on technicalities, Lloyd. I have finished all of the classic Game & Watches. There are technically still the two anniversary Game & Watches, the Zelda and Mario ones, and those almost don't count, but they do contain unique versions of Vermin and Ball within them, so... And then I haven't played all the Game & Watch galleries either, so if you count those as well. It depends. It all depends on what you count, what you're talking about. The dog probably dislikes, well, I gotta do it 100 times, or else I don't get the best ending, so. The game tells me I'm hugging my dog when I do that. What is the worst aspect of each of the worst games, and what's the best aspect of each of them? Anyone want to say worst again so I can see the list? Or am I gonna have to do it? Yeah, basically, Lloyd, it's literally just Ball, but with Mario's face, and Vermin with Link's face. So it's barely even something different, but it technically is. No, Fodi's fine. It's Bank-a-Link. All right. So, Super Team Games, the best aspect of that game is I like the character models. I think they look kind of funny, and it's just a nice art style. Worst is just how broken the controls are. It doesn't work. I played it again with Suji on a harder surface. It still felt terrible. Best part of the Rescue of Princess Blobette, I think the idea of a big dungeon you have to explore with beans that have different power-ups to navigate the dungeon is conceptually something that can work. The worst aspect of it, honestly, as you know, as much as I want to say falling out of the background, the worst aspect was the blob running, like trying to line up behind me and then running off of cliffs all the time. That was so frustrating. Worst part of Star Wars, you know, it might be that swing to the left. How when you swing to the left with the lightsaber, it just flat out doesn't work. Or like you just flat out can't swing any further because the animation is so bad. Best part is the music. Specifically the music for Tatooine and the bar, the cantina. Best part or worst part of Nigel Mansell, it's just the visuals. It's so hard to see in that game. It's brutal. Best part? The ambition, I guess. The fact that they actually did manage to do that on a Game Boy is kind of wild. Let's see. Elite Soccer. The best part about Elite Soccer is the fact that it functioned, and I'm not kidding you. That's like the one good thing about it. The one thing that saved it from being my least favorite game of all time was that it wasn't actually a broken game in any way. Worst part about it. It's kind of similar to Soccer on the NES. I hate the way when those soccer games do dribbling in that way. I do not like it. It sorely limits what you can and can't do. It just doesn't work. Street Fighter 2, worst part is the performance. Best part is the visuals and the music. Music and visuals are good in Street Fighter 2, but the performance is miserable. Have I milked this cow yet? I think I have not. Yep. Now Toy Story. Worst part about Toy Story? The frame rate was pretty bad. I don't know how to describe it, but feeling like a watered-down port of not a great game already was just not my favorite anyway. I'm with you, Lloyd. I have come to the conclusion that if you were to right now ask me what is my all-time least favorite Nintendo series, I would tell you it is the NES Sports series. I think the other NES Sports games that released on the console were much better than Nintendo's own, other than Ice Hockey. Ice Hockey is the one exception. So I don't know what the worst part of Toy Story would be. The visuals weren't great. The frame rate was pretty bad. You've got all the jank of the normal game of levels that are just kind of slapped together with a bunch of mechanics that don't always work. Best part about it? It wasn't quite as painfully, like, it wasn't as hard as the SNES game. It was over quicker, which is a silly thing to say is my favorite, but... And I guess it's kind of similar. I mean, it still kind of worked. There was some platforming and stuff that was functional. Favorite multiplayer game was Suji? The first game that comes to my mind is Contra. And Contra, or Super C. I think both are really fun multiplayer games. Trying to think if I would have anything I rate higher than that. I don't know. Can't think of anything. Just Konami doesn't really do that kind of stuff, I feel like. You gotta, they'll release a collection, and that's how you play their old games, if ever, or a remake. My guess would be that it's modern Konami more than any other reason why it's not on NSO. But it is on the Genesis? That is kind of odd, actually. I would still bet it's Konami, though. Is there a Konami collection you can buy right now? Because if there is, that would be another reason. A lot of companies that have their stuff on a collection won't make their stuff available on NSO. There is a Contra collection? Yeah, then that's probably why. A lot of the really good third-party or like retro games are usually going to be in a collection released by the company rather than on the NSO. I'm somewhat surprised Ninja Gaiden isn't in a collection. All right, should I say my favorite and least favorite thing about each of my favorite games so far? Be forced to insult my my favorite games? I am not a believer in 10 out of 10s are perfect games, so I'm sure I can think of something for some of them at least. Although that'd be hard. Do it. All right, let's see. Super Mario Brothers 3. Favorite thing? I actually really like the physics. I guess in context it feels even amplified. I feel like when I play Donkey Kong Country, Super Mario Brothers 3 after all the other platformers around the time, it just felt so good to play. So that's one of my favorite things about it. There's also a lot of levels. Like, it's a pretty sizable game, too, for an NES game, NES platformer game. I feel like it kind of set the standard in some ways for the size of a platformer. Wait, my wife's anniversary is coming up. You just reminded me. The 11th. When does your wife bake that cake? She must have so many eggs. Well, she bakes you something if I go to her before the end of the day. I don't know if it's a cake, though. Might be too late, though. Let's see. Oh, yeah, watch. So you can get this. I don't know if that's a cake, though. But maybe that's what she's making with the eggs. Yeah, that was kind of... I thought that was kind of interesting, too. Least favorite thing about Super Mario Brothers 3? Too many moving stages. That's pretty easy. Or rather, the way they do... I don't like the way they do the moving stages, and there's a lot of them. If they did my favorite... If they did what I talked about in the video, the Doom Wall style of moving stage, I would be fine with it, but... a lot of levels you're waiting around. And even that's only half an issue in some ways, because a lot of them are still, like, hard, which is fine, but there's some that are, like, easy and slow. Or, like, there's some that move fast still, and it's hard to keep up with, but not all of them. It's the ones where you don't keep up, where you can't keep up with them that's annoying. Or, it's when it's too easy to keep up with them and you're just waiting that I don't like it as much. Alright, next is... Super Mario World. I think Super Mario World... What I like what that one added to the formula, at least, is I like the world map, the secret exits. I feel like it has the best 2D Mario map to date. I don't think there's been any Mario game that has come close to having as fun as a level structure as Super Mario World has. Least favorite thing? This might be blasphemy to some, but it's maybe a bit too easy. Compared to Super Mario Brothers 3, I think I like the difficulty of Brothers 3 more. When I say it's my least favorite thing, though, I don't think it's, like, bad. Maybe the cape is a little too OP, but it's not like you have to use it. Do. Duh. I guess, actually, something I can say about Super Mario World and Super Mario Brothers 3, both of them, is the bosses are kind of just okay. That's kind of always been true of Mario. I haven't seen birds once yet this season, have I? Boom, ba-dum, boom. Link to the Past. I can tell you what I like about Link to the Past. I think well, a few things, actually. And I'm going to do it in the context of comparing it to other Zelda games. I really like the way that game handles linearity and non-linearity. I think it's one of the best balances Nintendo has ever struck with the Zelda games between allowing you to do things in different orders, but still gaining things behind upgrades. So I think that's something I don't think like that's kind of as much as I like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, and I don't even know how you could do this with a game as big as them. I really like that you can go out of a dungeon and go somewhere else. You can get the sword upgrade before fighting blind, and then you can go to another dungeon with the tier 2 gloves or something, you know. I think there's a really fun mix of how they handle... I think the way they handle linearity and non-linearity in that game is... I like it a lot. I also in general... kind of like the dungeon structures in those games. Like... it's for a similar reason of how they're how they've mixed linearity and non-linearity. I think there's a good balance in the dungeons. The puzzles aren't necessarily the most exciting, but I think the way you route through them and stuff is, generally speaking, kind of interesting. Least favorite thing about it? Man, it's so hard to think about that game without being in the context of how many randomizers I play of it. Dude, stop. Stop! See, all I can think about in my randomizer brain is how much I dislike getting back to the top of Death Mountain whenever I leave it. Which they did actually change in the Game Boy Advance version, so maybe that is a legitimate thing, but I don't know if that's quite enough to say what just my one quality is my least favorite. Like, I guess, I don't know. I guess the combat isn't crazy, but I think it's still good. I hate it. I don't know. Link to the Past is hard to find one single thing that I really dislike in it, or notably dislike in it. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Maybe there's something I'm not thinking about. Least favorite thing about Mario Odyssey. Oh. Maybe that I kind of feel like... Well, no, that's not completely true. I was gonna say something along the lines of, I kind of feel like, generally speaking, my favorite things about the controls in that game are actually just the normal controls and not the captures. So, like, I almost prefer not being in a capture, but I think there's still fun capture stuff, so I don't know if that's really what I would say. Bum, bum, ba-da-bum. Yeah, I mean, I've heard some people complain that Link to the Past is a little too vague at times, too. Like, how are you supposed to know that to get the ice? Like, what happens if you get to Trinex and haven't found the ice rod yet? You know, that kind of thing, but... You know me, I don't mind that kind of thing. Lack of magic, like, not enough magic. Like, you could run out too easily. Huh. Yeah, I could see that. I'm definitely not someone who complains about there being too many moons in Mario Odyssey, to be honest. That doesn't bother me. I mean, I guess some moons aren't created equal, so there are some moons that are kind of not great, but I don't mind it too much. Yeah, that's what's up. Some people say that. I don't mind it, honestly, a whole lot. Because I kind of just find it fun to collect things. I guess you could have tiered things maybe differently, but I don't know. I'm a bit more about the journey than the reward, I guess. Oh, it lacks the magic of Mario 64. Huh. Do. I guess I could agree with that sentiment, though, that maybe not for the reason that I don't get the dopamine hit, but just some of the moons could have been a little harder, I guess. Or maybe, again, mixed up the type of things you got. I don't know. It's not a huge deal for me, though. Alright, what's my next one? Super Metroid. There's a few things I could comment about Super Metroid that I really like. I really like the movement. I think that it's a totally different feel from something like Super Mario Brothers. But I guess, I don't know, by modern standards, maybe it takes a bit to get used to things like the jumping and the wall jumping and stuff, but I really like how that game feels. But more so, I just like the world. Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing, Suji. I think it's, oops, almost made the mistake with my wife here. I think like the level design is all around pretty good. There's a good mix of like things being hidden, but I don't know, maybe there's a couple points where they go too far, but it's not nearly as bad as the original Metroid in that regard. The whole the upgrade system and how you unlock the world, I think is really good. I feel like there's a pretty good balance. Like, there's no warps in the game, but I feel like the world is designed in a tight enough way where that's not usually a problem. It feels like you can get anywhere pretty quickly. Maybe there's a few corners that are a little annoying to get to, but for the most part, compared to some Metroidvania games where it feels like you have to warp to get anywhere quickly. There's a good amount of like looping and things that turn in upon themselves and stuff like that. An area that I would say is weak about Super Metroid, the most obvious one is, like, the sand pits in Meridia. Or even just, like, the looping that you have to do to get everything there. To fall through the required sand pitfalls is just a little tedious. I would also say, as memorable as a lot of the bosses are thematically, they can be a bit of a mash fest. A bit of a E-tank check. Whoever has more gear wins. Or if you have enough gear. Yeah, like the missile stations could have given you super missiles. Yeah, that's true. There's not much else going on narratively. I don't personally mind that too much, but I could definitely see that or understand that being a complaint. I guess in some ways I kind of like just being able to do what I want, but you could maybe had a little more. A top-down Metroid game in an open world. You mean like a Zelda game? Yeah, I played Zelda Link Between Worlds. Let's see. What would be next? Donkey Kong Country 2. What's my favorite thing about Donkey Kong Country 2? Gosh. I think in general, I just really like the level design in those games. From the difficulty to the way they like the kind of the secrets to find and stuff like that. I mean, it's not all perfect, but all and just like the unique ideas they have that all still feel like they fit within the controls. I think they feel pretty good to play too. Or it feels pretty good. I'm thinking about all of them, but I think it feels pretty good too. The controls are solid. Yeah, I was gonna say the music is very good in Donkey Kong Country 2. I don't know if I'd say it's my favorite, but it is very good. It's like possibly my all-time favorite soundtrack, video game soundtrack ever. What would be my least favorite thing about it? Yeah, I actually, I was not just that stage. I think there's a couple of stages that are a bit slow. Another one that comes to mind is the one where you're the spider in the forest, slowly going to the right with the spider webs. The hot balloon ride level is another one. There's just a couple levels where the idea they have for it in execution is just a little bit tedious. And, well, I don't know. Things can kind of come out of nowhere. Like, the camera's a little close in that game, maybe, than I would like, but it's not a huge deal. I like kind of the secret content in the game, too. How they do that. Bonus levels with, if you do a bunch of secret, bonuses in the game, you know. And I know for some people those games are really hard, but I feel like those games are actually really nice difficulty for what I like. I mean, I guess I can understand how it can be a little annoying to save. And I can see why that would be a frustrating thing for people, but I quite like the difficulty of those games in general. Let's see. And Super Mario 64. Ba-bum, bum, bum. Gosh. It's gotta just be, well, there's a few things I could say. I really like the kind of, the establishment of the whole, you have one 3D level that you find a bunch of things in. I think I tend to prefer 3D games that go, like, I personally feel like 3D platformers work a little better with a focus on exploration than just linearity, personally. Like, I like linear platformer games, but I tend to I've just noticed when I look at myself, when I look at my history of, or like what games I like, I tend to like 2D, when I like linear, when it comes to platformers and linearity, I like 2D ones, but with 3D ones, I like a little more exploration and finding things. So I really like that about Super Mario 64. But I also just think, like, it's maybe a little awkward today, a few things about it, but I think it just controls really good. Or, like, it's really interesting. There's a lot of mechanics for being a first 3D game. There's, like, more mechanics than there is in, like, Mario Galaxy, for example. There's more Mario can do in 64. Maybe the edges are a little rough on some of them, but I just think running around and jumping feels good in that game. I also just like that it's a bit more platformy, even though I just said I like the non-linearity of it. I feel like there's a bit more jumping from here to there. That some 3D platformers miss, that I feel like it gets pretty good. Bit more unashamedly platformer-esque. Ba-ba-ba-bum. Ba-da-da-da-da. Play Donkey Kong Country 1 for the first time. You're good. Really enjoyed it too. Playing 2 eventually. I think 2's even better. I love 1 as well, but I think 2's even better. So yeah, hope you enjoy it. Least platforming Mario? I don't agree with that. Ba-bum-bum. That's the one where I feel like jumping from platform to platform happens a lot and matters a lot. I don't know, maybe we have different concepts of what we mean by platforming. Do, 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 do. Do, do, do. Least favorite thing about Mario 64, there's a few too many stages that are variations of get from bottom to top. And then you just do that again for different stars. So like Tick-Tock Clock, Tall Tall Mountain, Rainbow Ride to some degree. There's a little too much of that. It's been a long time since I played Super Mario 64 DS. I remember playing it a lot and enjoying it back in the day. It's been a long time, though, since I last picked it up. Thought Donkey Kong Country 2 relied too much on the whole, and the parts aren't all that great. I don't know if I would agree with that. I think there's a lot of good levels. Favorite noodle dish? The Thai food cow soy, probably. I love that meal. It's kind of a noodle soup. Ba-da-da-da-da. It is a rich, creamy coconut curry noodle soup. I can't help but get it every time I go to a Thai place. Do 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 do. You make it all the time? Oh, I'm jealous. I love it. Ba-da-da-da-da. It's funny, I've seen it spelled with an S-O-I. Is that a variation of it? Oh, so the Burmese version is different. It's probably really similar, though. It looks really similar. Looks like the Burmese version is Khowsuey. No, wait. It is AO. I'm just seeing different ways to spell it. Yeah, I think that's still kind of the core of the Thai dish as well. You had ramen at a place in Tokyo Central Station, you still daydream about it. Yeah, I love it. I think it's so good. I'll have to try the Burmese version sometime. I used to not be able to find as many Thai places that had it, but now it seems like it's gotten more popular. And most Thai places I go to have it on their menu. It's only from, it's like a northern Thailand dish, so it's not even everywhere in Thailand. Or at least that's not where it came from, you know. Ba-bum, ba-da-da-da. I didn't, when you don't know, at least the versions I've had, you don't have to get it with chicken. You can have it with pork or beef as well. But I don't know what the right way to do it is. Probably chicken. Do-do-do-do. Da-da-da-da-da. How many days has it been? Well, I should be able to make it to the 15th at this rate. Crops aren't growing yet, though. Things will slow down a little bit. Yeah, I've got it with pork, actually, and I've thought it's really good with pork. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't know why I count, because now it's like that's the only thing that I can cut. I'm on the cycle properly now. Do 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 do. Sega Genesis game that Wikipedia says was published by DreamWorks. Yeah, no idea. Okay, I wasn't sure if I was standing in the right spot there or not. We're getting close to my anniversary date. On the date of my anniversary, I want to give my wife tons of eggs because I think it increases my happiness. I think. Yeah, that was just a really easy way to build her relationship. But I thought it maybe increased your happiness too. So I want to shower her with gifts for my own happiness. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Dream Switch 2 games. It's an interesting question because on the one hand, like, I'm sure I'll enjoy whatever the next Zelda or Mario is. I'm looking forward to those, but my dream game? Something that's like, I wouldn't say it's a port or a, it would definitely not be a port or a remaster. I like those and I enjoy those. I don't care about them nearly as much as most people do. I still have all those old games, and I like a lot of them as they are originally, but or like, I'm really looking forward to a new Smash Bros. Game. So those are all games I would like. But I also feel like, I don't know. I guess I tend to somewhat prefer to be, like, surprised, I guess. Like, I don't really want... well, I mean, I'd still enjoy it. I don't necessarily want an Odyssey 2. I'd like something, you know, fresh. Or I don't necessarily want another game set in the Breath of the Wild map. I'd still enjoy it, but... So I guess I'm looking for something new that I'm not... That, like, my dream is something I haven't dreamed of before. I want it to be something I haven't seen yet. That's probably more what I would look forward to. If I had to, like, say, like, let's say a franchise I would want a revival to, this won't surprise some of you. I would love to see, like, a full-on, I don't know, maybe a bit more high-effort Golden Sun game. That would be kind of my dream franchise to see come back. Another Nintendo Land. Interesting choice. I think that's everything. Let me double check the cows because I'm not confident, but... New franchise? I don't know if yeah. As long as the ideas are there, I don't necessarily care if it's a new franchise or not, but I guess sometimes to start a completely new, fresh idea... Starting with a new franchise is how to do that, so that would be exciting too. I would always love a new Pikmin game, I guess. That's another thing I would look forward to. Excuse me, man. Yawning again. Do 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 do. Legs, the spiritual successor to arms. Do 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 do. I don't necessarily feel like I have a strong franchise loyalty either. Well, that's not completely true. It's more like there's gameplay styles I really like. So, like, you know, I like Metroidvanias, so a Metroid game being like a Metroidvania is probably something that's going to appeal to me. But at the same time, if Nintendo made a Metroidvania that was just as good as Metroid without Metroid, I'd be really happy too. So, I don't know if it's necessarily the characters I'm as attached to as it is so much the ideas behind the series, if that makes any sense. So, like, I like Golden Sun because I like the idea of... mazy puzzle dungeons, and I feel like Golden Suns were some of the best to do that. I don't think I don't necessarily have loyalty to the characters as I do so much the style of game. So I do, but not in the way maybe some people do. Do 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 do. Oops, wrong one. Do 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 do. Ba 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 da 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 da. Yeah, I like Golden Sun a lot. I think some people aren't super into it. And I can kind of see why, but I think just like the dungeons alone hard carry the series for me. Ba-na-na-na-na. Some ways it kind of reminds me of why I like Lufia 2 so much. I think I do like Lost Age more, the sequel. Do. Might be a bit too dungeon heavy. That's what I love about him. Wizzy? No, wait, Wizzy is normally up. Did I milk all 3 of these? Or is Math on it? No. I milked all 3 of you? Oh, weird. Could've sworn I only had done 2. Maybe one swung around up top earlier or something. Do. Oh. There might be some in Lost Age that you might think will overstay their welcome if you're not super into the dungeons as much. There's one that's crazy. I love it, but it's pretty infamous. What's funny, so there's 4 dungeons, elemental themed dungeons in the second game, and it's the first one that's the gnarliest. It's the most infamous. It's today the 9th or the 10th? 9th. Good night, Nino. They want you to know what you're in for? Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. I don't necessarily want to spoil it for you if you haven't, if you're still playing them, but I love the music in those games too, actually. Soundtrack is up there for me. All right, are we finally? No, we still haven't grown any yet. Maybe thought I would have got one by now. Probably tomorrow. I cannot believe how I haven't seen a single day of rain this entire second year so far. It's kind of wild to me. Like, is that just really weird luck, or... 3, 4... I wasn't aware of a drought mechanic in this game, but Maybe. I would take rain during these days, too. These are the perfect days for rain, because when I have to start plucking crops, then you have to still, like, the rain doesn't, for some stupid reason, the rain doesn't water crops that you've plucked. So I'm still gonna have to water on those days. And these days are the days where there was no crops to pluck, so these would have been the perfect ones to rain, but never saw it once. It'll rain as soon as people gamble. That must be it. Maybe we need to open up a gamble. Will it rain tomorrow? When did I get the storm? Wasn't it right as my crop started to grow? Although it was corn last time. All the way through. The tomatoes are going to start sprouting here, but the corn is not ready yet. Want to make sure I do a pretty fair balance of tomatoes and corn, because I do want to get the 200 of every crop. So even though the corn is more valuable, I don't necessarily want to prioritize it here. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like, when you consider how many times I got mad at the rain for raining in my first year when I was trying to get married and all that, and then just nothing. 2.5 months straight so far of nothing. Marriage causes droughts. Yep. Oh, yeah, and like you said earlier, that's right. The secret to a happy marriage is to give your wife eggs. You can go to bed late at night, she'll get mad at you for it, but then you can just give her an egg the next day and she'll be happy. That is what I'm doing in this game. She does not... Your wife actually loses happiness when you go to bed late, like I do. But because I give her an egg every morning, it makes up for it. Kind of goofy. And apparently it works with every wife, too, because so everyone has unique gifts they like, but once they become your wife, they shift to, a completely new slate of what they like and dislike. And it's all the same. For everyone, or, like, for all the girls, once they become your wife. Alright. Sorry for going home late. Wait, really? I thought they were all the same. Interesting. That's what someone said. I guess they were wrong. Ba-bum, ba-da-da-da-da. Yeah, I think Switch 1 is actually... Personally, I think Switch 1 has been a very good... Even just from strictly the games, one of Nintendo's better... generations, I think, personally. Alright, tomorrow is the anniversary day, I think. Could double check by starting off by giving her eggs and just making sure, because I think she says something unique for it. There's a couple franchises that, you know, some people will be sad about. You know, like Star Fox and F-Zero didn't really show up on... I guess you had F-Zero 99, but... I'm a little lucky in that I've never cared for those franchises quite as much anyway. We'll see. Maybe I'll fall in love with F-Zero, though, more when I play 64 and or the GX and X. Ba-da-ba-da. Yeah, I guess Star Fox had that crossover. I don't know if I'd really count that, though. Oh, man. For those of you that have played Kingdom Hearts, I bet you can imagine for my not being a big lover of rail shooters, what I think about the gummy ship. Take a wild guess. Do, 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 do. I didn't pick up my cow tools. Tomatoes have grown. Yeah, I actually still haven't played Star Fox 2, so that would be kind of fun. Oops, that's not the one I'm supposed to pet. Soon, I will not need the brush any longer. Once Bank-A-Link finally starts giving the biggest milk. Do, 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 do. Like, I feel like even when I compare, like, games that came, you know, franchises that have always been there, I feel like the Switch is some of their better ones, too, personally. I know not everyone thinks that, but I do. Like, you know, you didn't really have your Federation forces or your... Yeah, maybe there were some. I'm trying to think. Were there any franchises that really had what people would consider to be duds, but where they did release on the Switch but weren't very good? I'm trying to think. I guess, like, Brothership wasn't quite as good as some of the other Mario and Luigi games. Yeah, Prime 4, maybe. Now that we've gotten that far. I feel like the Switch Mario parties were better received than the Wii U ones, at least. But I also don't really like Mario Party very much. I didn't even hate Brothership, but I don't feel like it was as good as some of the best. I feel like it was on the lower side of Mario and Luigi. It's hard to, I don't know. It seems like Mario Party... what do people consider to be the best era of it? My nostalgia's for the N64 games, even if I've never loved them. But I don't know. Do people like the GameCube ones more? Generally speaking. I remember not liking 4 a whole lot, but that could have just been 4. I don't even know if I'm getting all the milk every time. They're so, like, they wander around everywhere. I remember 4 just having, like, too many mushroom spaces. That's the thing I remember about it. It also feels like it was made for the N64. Like, when you compare even just visually it to some of the future ones. But I guess it doesn't, I don't know, it's not a huge deal. Have I milked everyone? I feel like I'm missing one from the top right, but... Oh well. Yeah, that's what I've wondered. Kirby's funny because you had both Star Allies, which to me is a bit on the lower end of Kirby games, but then you also had Forgotten Land, which is like up there with some of my favorites. So they made up for it. Oh. Hello, Shining Magneton. Welcome. I mean, I guess some people would tell you Switch Pokemon has been, like, the worst, but I feel like people say that every every console with Pokemon. And personally, I like Scarlet and Violet a lot. It's like one of my favorites. But I also haven't played Gens 3 through 5 yet, so we will see. Forgotten Land is really good. I think it's like one of my all-time favorite Kirby games now. I was very pleasantly surprised with it. Like I was a little worried that it felt like they were going 3D just to like do it, I guess, but I think they nailed it. Yeah, I like Arceus a lot as well. Yeah, I'm a bit more mixed on, but oh, shoot, I cut grass when I should have been doing tomatoes. I totally forgot that I had this. Oh, well, it's not a huge deal. I gotta get my brain in the farming or harvesting mode now, because I'm gonna... Oh, shoot, this is gonna be different, though, because of the... Oh, man, this is way harder. I didn't think about this. Gotta be a little bit more careful about how I'm positioning myself. If I can get at least 2, I'll be happy. Actually, even just 1 is probably enough, but... And I really like Pikmin 4. That's like one of my favorites. I mean, I like Mario Odyssey and the Zelda games, too. At the very least, like, I don't know if I would say... I don't know. If 3D Zelda game or like Breath of the Wild and Tears are quite as high as like N64 Zelda games for me, but I don't know. Like I wasn't like, you know, Skyward Sword, DS Zelda games. Even Twilight Princess, I'm a little bit like I like it a lot, but I really like Switch Zeldas. I could keep going, should I? I mean, it's just gonna be, I'm gonna be overflowing with props here soon, so I'll just get what I can. So far, my least favorite console for Pokemon has probably been 3DS. I'm just the ones I've played. Is it a hot take to say Forgotten Land is the best Kirby game? I don't think so. Cutting grass instead of picking tomatoes? What will my wife think? She's gonna be home when I get home, or she's gonna be mad I get to bed late regardless. N64 games a more consistently good reception. It still felt like the novel idea, right? Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. Like, there's parts of Twilight Princess that's really cool. And then you're a wolf collecting bugs. Or hunting bugs in a world that's hard to see. I wouldn't say I disliked any of the 3DS Pokemon. I would just say for me that was my of the gens that I've played, which is everything but 3 through 5. That was my least favorite. I like all the Pikmin games, though, to be fair. So even though I say I really like the Switch one, even my least favorite is still a game I really love. I actually feel like, I don't know. I think some people, there's some really good stuff on the Wii U, but there was also some low points on the Wii U. But maybe that's just being selective. Like, you think about, I don't know, Amoeba Festival, or... I'm thinking of 3DS a little bit, too, like Chibi Robo Ziplash. I feel like you had some kind of dud. Oh, I guess Pikmin. Hey, Pikmin. I don't know, I feel like there were some franchises that kind of got these really mediocre entries, but... I bet you retroactively you could always find the stinkers, so maybe it's not as bad as I'm thinking about it. Yeah, like, I still like the system, and there was still some really good games on it. I was happy to have it, but... Perfect. I watered this perfectly. Yeah, that's true, actually. I think Twilight Princess gets better second half of the game. And that's not common, that's not how all Zelda games feel. I think once you, like, can turn into Wolf Link and Link as much as you want, I think the game actually gets better at that point. I kind of feel like, I've said this kind of just in a really general, generic sense. Nothing I'd stick too hard. I feel like Twilight Princess, some of Twilight Princess's best stuff is the stuff where it's when it's trying to be Ocarina of Time, and some of its worst stuff is when it's trying to do its own thing, which is kind of sad. I think I'm good. Tomorrow is the anniversary. I still really, Zelda is one of those franchises, though, where it's like, even my least favorite games are still pretty good. So, like, I still really like Twilight Princess. Actually, least favorite for Zelda is probably DS era. It's our anniversary, do you remember? It is, wait, is it today? All right, let's see. What? Did I not get married on the 11th? She didn't say something special for our anniversary. I swear I wrote it down as summer the 11th. I'm gonna check my VOD now, because I want to make sure I don't miss this. Oh, maybe we got married the day after? Like, because with a wedding? Wait, no. I'm so confused now. When did I get married? Would I even know? I have it written down as the 11th. Let me double check my sheet, my note, my thing where I wrote it down. Maybe it wasn't the 11th. I said summer the 11th. What the heck? The calendar, there is not really a calendar in this. I don't think. That calendar in your room, I don't think is actually that good. Yeah, see. Shoot. I don't want to spend too much time here, but... Oh, I still kind of want to figure it out. See if I can't. Did I say what day it was? Okay, what is this? I'm already married in this video. Watch as I missed the anniversary. I mean, I'm sure I gave her an egg on it, but... Okay, I'm already married at the start of this one. Okay. I'm not married yet. When did I propose? Not married yet. Maybe it was a little later. It might be later than I realized. Oh, I'm married here. Just randomly going through my video. I'm married at this point. The problem is I didn't necessarily check my clock every day. Okay, this is what I found when I proposed. What day is this? Did I look at my clock this morning? Shoot, come on. Okay, I wake up. Did I look at my clock to see what day of the week it is? Please tell me. Oh, wait, doesn't it say at the wedding it says what day you got married? Maybe after the ceremony. Sorry, guys. I don't like always looking at my guide like this, but... Saturday, 11th of summer! We got married today. How does the anniversary work? Maybe she doesn't say anything extra and I'm just getting the extra bonus? I thought there was. If you give your wife a gift on an anniversary, you do get a bunch of happiness. Happiness is to give your wife gifts on your anniversary. You receive 30 points for each gift you give her on your first or second anniversary. She will give a special message after receiving a gift on that day, which indicates you earned the happiness boost. Is to give her as many eggs in the coop as you can. Also give her 12 eggs in a single day, especially if she hangs out near the barn for a happiness boost of 360. She didn't say that, though. Huh? What? I'm so confused. She's not saying the message. Would it for some reason be the day after? I mean, I guess I could test something stupid here. Let's do it. Let's test. Oh, she's in here already. Wait. No. Okay, let's not... Wait. Let's not save. Let's go to bed. Yeah, I know. I don't care. My chickens didn't lay any eggs. I'm dumb. I can give her a tomato, though. Let's see if she says something. What? Nothing. I am so confused by this. My opinion of Ocarina of Time has gone up as I've gotten older, actually. I am so confused about this anniversary thing. Weird. The message just isn't triggering. I mean, if it's not happening, it's not happening. I don't know what I can do about it. Should I give her the eggs anyway for the full day? I don't know. It's so weird. I guess I could try giving her an egg in the house. I am so confused about this. I mean, I get whatever. I guess I'll maybe give her all the eggs just in case it's boosting my happiness, but I don't really know. Do. I actually don't know if you could tell me if I could say a Zelda game where I like the dungeons better than Ocarina of Time. Do. Link to the Past is good too, but I think I like Ocarina of Times better. I think Twilight Princesses are good thematically, but not actually the best from a... I don't find them as interesting to, like, explore. I think they're really good. Like, their visuals are nice, but I don't find the dungeons themselves actually as good. Like, is it really that interesting to walk on a magnetic ceiling upside down for 5 minutes? Or to wait on a turn tile as the wind slowly turns the platform? Do. I actually really like Water Temple other than the Iron Boot switching, but I actually love the dungeon, conceptually. Do. Do 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 do. Yep, I played Ocarina of Time 3D. I usually still play them. I just don't think I don't think I like, it's not that I don't like them. I don't like foam at the mouth for them like some people do. I often get them and enjoy them, but I'm not like, oh, Nintendo needs to re-release this game and I'll be happy. I think overall it's pretty good. I think there's maybe some, like, visual things that don't quite capture the atmosphere of the original super well, but for the most part, I really like it. It's the first time I got to experience Master Quest dungeons too, which is pretty cool. I will say, in Majora's Mask 3D, I don't know why they removed, or they made it so that swimming fast cost magic. That was such a downgrade. That alone was enough to make me not like the Majora's Mask one as much. You've definitely never foamed at the mouth for a remake. It's fine. I said that pretty, like in a pretty insulting manner, but... It's just not, I'm not as into it as some people are. Ba-da-da-da-da. So weird about the anniversary thing. I don't get it. I swear it was on the... I don't swear. I saw it. It was on the 11th. Is the anniversary not what I think it is? That to be a Saturday? Is it like the nearest Saturday to, or the same day of the week? I don't get it. Hello, Leapster. I don't swear on stream, har har. I swear. Tsuji, you're late. Dang it, I was like looking forward to seeing a new thing happen for once with her talking about the anniversaries, but she just never did. She does always seem to be doing the same exact thing every day. I'm not convinced she actually does anything on the farm. She just pretends to. She's not even with the child usually either. Actually, if you go inside, she is with the child, so I don't know. There's like two of her. She's teleporting around. That's the only explanation. Well, got all the tomatoes done in 2 days. But keep in mind, I have 3 days to do all of these plots, essentially, once things actually get going. So that's, like, certainly not happening. Average mother powers. Wait, aren't you supposed to be in there with the kid? What? Yo, more. Or as you all know, my own mother. Thank you so much for the Prime Gaming sub, Mom. Oh, it's the day with nothing. Speaking of mother power. Did you know, Mom, that we were talking about mothers at the time? Well, I got the whole garden to water again. Huzzah. Well, it was perfect timing, Mom. Do. It's not nearly as much money as last time. Guess I didn't do as many tomatoes. Should double check that I fed my cows. Today was kind of a mess. Plop. What the baby's out here today now. Okay, now the baby's teleporting around. Do. All right, I got slowed down a bit. Hopefully I can, You guys might see my mom on stream someday. Because she might be one of the 6 I try to gather for Super Team games. If I can pull it off. I'm still not sure that'll ever happen, but... Currently, 2 of the people I want to ask are... in the process of moving, so... Now's not exactly a great time. What is that? Cable? Been there the whole time. I wasn't paying attention, to be honest, so I just did it a bunch. Do you count 16 times? All right, well, apparently I remembered my anniversary, but my wife didn't. So... I guess that's all I get out of it. Weird. I wonder why that didn't happen. I think I've done this 100 times yet. Still streaming? Yep, I stream till 5 p.m. PST, so another hour and 15 minutes. That is my usual stream time. Sometimes I go a little over, too. Not often, but sometimes. I got plenty to do right now, though. Gotta start recording for the next Nintendo Awards video, and that just takes time. He's very active, and I have to put an item in all the time. Doesn't seem like it, sometimes she's... Whatever. Well, it is not 1 a.m. for me. Time zones are funny like that. It is only 3:47 p.m. Still afternoon. For me. This is the baby can teleport. Have I ever played a non-Nintendo game? Absolutely, yes. I have played plenty. I thought of Jack Jack too, Suji. Can I list? Whoa! You want me just to talk non-stop till the end of the day? Because that's gonna be a long list. Are you basically trying to ask what franchises I play outside of like what games I play outside of Nintendo, or what I know of too? Because there's plenty of games I know of that I don't play. Oh yeah, you call yourself a gamer? List every game. What is the peak concurrent player for any, like, game-ish games you think? I'm sorry, I don't understand the question. The cows have confused me. I'm exiting and coming back in. I don't pay a whole lot of attention to concurrent players if you're talking about, like, Steam metrics and stuff. I don't have a good answer for that if that's what you're asking. It's probably something like Roblox. Probably always has a ridiculous amount of concurrent players. As to how many, I don't know. Millions? At its peak. Yeah, MMOs, Counter-Strike, MOBAs, those probably have some pretty high player counts at all times. But I don't know why I'm milking the same cow over and over again. Challenge me to everything not Nintendo. Now you just look salty if you did that. I'm actually very happy with the game selection I chose. It's a lot, but like, I think personally, I kind of like publisher library over console library, because console libraries, like, I've played some bad things, but man, you got to play like every sports game for a console, and that's usually a lot. Every game is Dark Souls. Don't get me started, Fear Navigator. My biggest rant, if you want to make me mad, is call Hollow Knight a Souls-like. And some people... A lot of people do it. I do not agree with it, though. Turtle, I hope you're just egging me on. Ba-ba. I don't know, you guys want to hear me rant about why I don't think Hollow Knight is a Souls-like? Dare we open up this can of worms? I knew there was one more cow. Do. Now, interesting that you say it's Metroidvania, because the first Dark Souls does actually have some Metroidvania inspirations in its world design. So there is a level of connection there, but I don't think Metroidvania, not all Souls-likes have that level design. And I can certainly say Hollow Knight is clearly taking inspiration from the same thing that Souls game did, if anything, in that regard. Oh, people have Suji. What's that one with the rats? I don't know. What's that one called? There's a rat game that's a lot more Souls-like. I don't see what makes Hollow Knight a Souls-like other than it being hard. The atmosphere, it's not like Souls did dark atmospheres first. In fact, the devs have absolutely said they got the inspiration for the setting from Hollow Knight from Fa Xanadu, which makes sense. Fa Xanadu is about returning to your hometown, and it's people have been brainwashed by a poison. It's very similar to Hollow Knight setting. Hollow Knight has no stamina system, no Estus Flask system. Like, bonfires don't recover your resources. The combat feels completely different. Sort of feels like anytime like, people make a game that's difficult or have hard bosses, people are like, oh, it's a Souls-like. But to me, that's not what a Souls-like actually is. When you look at games that are actually more heavily inspired by Souls games. I did it again. Oh, wait, no, there's no crops grown, so I'm good. I gotta make sure I don't do that, though. The only one thing, well, and that's not even really, like, oh, I guess there's corpse runs, but that's not, I don't know, I don't consider that to be a Dark Souls originator thing either. I don't consider that to be a thing that makes you a Souls-like. Heck, even Minecraft has corpse runs. But what do I think about Italian brain rot? I don't know. I find it kind of dumb. I don't find it that funny. I'm sorry. Like, I get that's kind of part of the whole point, is that it's just ridiculous and weird, and that's why it's funny, but I don't know, it just doesn't appeal to me. I don't find it super funny. I don't even want to say I don't get it, in the sense of, like, I understand why people think that's kind of funny to be that way, but I just personally don't find it very funny. I think when you look at what like, when asked about it before, the devs have been asked if they were inspired by Souls-like, and they said, if anything, we were probably inspired by similar retro games at times. Like, they talk about Mega Man games for bosses and wall clinging and stuff like that. Mega Man X in particular. Fall Xanadu for settings. I don't know. I mean, I guess you could in theory still be a subgenre without taking inspiration from it, but I've played a fair amount of Souls games now and Metroidvanias, and I don't really see enough there. Hollow Knight doesn't feel like a Souls game, other than they're just both kind of hard. I think another thing with a lot of Souls games, they tend to be very, animation kind of heavy, too. You have these big swings where you have to think about iframes or not having it, you know? That's not really how Hollow Knight is, either. Also, Souls games often, they don't always, but they often have a lot of, like, weapon variety and moveset variety, whereas Hollow Knight's just, you slash up, down, left, right. I don't know. It just feels so different. That the only similarities are fleeting similarities that feel like can be found across multiple subgenres that don't necessarily overlap when they have the same thing. I think he's linking to... I didn't check it, but I think he's linking to the story about Endgame being the Souls-like of movie. Oh, yeah, his chart. Comparing to Dark Souls alignment chart. And there's literally an article that someone wrote that you can see there where someone says, the influence of Dark Souls on Avengers Infinity War is hard to ignore. Is that a real article? No way, right? Ba-ba. All right, here's the second thing, Apparel. Did you know that Dr. Bob is my blood brother? So I got more reasons than one to trust him. Also, another thing is Hollow Knight has absolutely zero RPG mechanics, too. When Dark Souls games, or like the Souls games, are all, action RPGs. With leveling, like, there's also a huge amount of character building with, like, your stats. You can go for a dex build, a strength build, a magic build. I did that stupid thing again, I've done that before. There is none of that in Hollow Knight. Inputs of Dark Souls on Avengers Endgame goes crazy. I don't know. I feel like I like... Yeah, I would question calling Sekiro a Souls-like game, too. It's closer than Hollow Knight, but I definitely would agree that I'm not sure that one would qualify. I don't know. I don't want to judge people too much. You're allowed to think Hollow Knight is a Souls-like, but sometimes it feels to me that it's coming from people who actually haven't played a whole lot of games that both are inspired by. And a lot of the simulators are just kind of fleeting. And no more connective than other games in different genres that have some similar themes. So there's my rant. I hope I wasn't too, I'm right, you're wrong about it. I mean, I kind of was, but... do, do, do. Do, 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 do. When is Bank Link gonna give the best milk, man? I want to stop bringing this brush in here. Oh. Now, I will admit, I haven't played a whole lot of I haven't really played many Souls-like games out of Souls, Dark Souls, and other From Software stuff, but I have watched a decent amount. Which I know isn't the same thing, but... there's someone who I watch sometimes that plays a good amount of, other Souls games. And that... I seriously am not... this is not the person who inspired me to say this, because I thought this before I heard them say it, but that very same person does not think Hollow Knight is a Souls-like either. When they were asked about it recently. Do, 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 do. While we're on the topic of genre tagging, though, do you know how bad Steve's genre tags can be? And I'm not just saying that because they say Hollow Knight is a Souls-like, but it's because they're completely community voted on, and I don't know, maybe you could argue that whatever community defines a genre to be, then they define it, but so maybe it is the purest form of accuracy of a genre. We must just trust the masses. Since that's how the term is going to be used the most commonly then. But, there are definitely some things I see out there where I'm like, huh? I don't know if you necessarily need to have every one of those things to be a Souls-like. Like, would I say a stamina system is absolutely necessary? I don't know. But I just feel like the combat in general is just so far removed from Souls games. Yeah, I think they've been pretty open that they were pretty inspired by retro games for Hollow Knight. All right, I wasn't sure if I milked that guy, but I think I did. Do, 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 do. I haven't played another Crab's Treasure, but it looks kind of fun. I've kind of wanted to, like, potentially try playing a few more of those, or a few other Souls-like games that aren't just FromSoft, but I just haven't bitten the bullet. I just did the stupid thing again. I should make sure I'm gonna have enough crops for or grass for the winter. It'd be awful if I ran out. I should. I mean, the math lines up that I should absolutely have enough. Oh, I was gonna just test this, like, for a couple days here in case for some reason it's delayed. Nope. Another one I hear a lot of people say positive things about is, Liza P. Although it looks pretty hard, but I think I wouldn't mind that aspect. Oh wait, I already gave my wife an egg, that's right. All right, I've got crops to do today. The tomatoes have grown back. The infestation has arrived. Oh, corn is here too. Oh, great. How do I want to start doing this? I'm not sure. You know what? Let's do something like this. Because I kind of want to do an even amount of corn and tomatoes every day. So let's like focus on a line where there's both. And go from there. I'm stupid. So now I'm just gonna have literally an unsustainable amount of crops every day. I still can't believe I haven't had a single rainy day. Not that it would matter at this point if all the crops are always gonna be grown. Actually, no, there'll be days where it's not. Oh, shoot, this isn't lined up. Let me get this whole row done. I'm actually gonna have, well, maybe I can keep up with the crops. If I can do 4 rows in one day, dude, that's like a lot. Someone said you could do 15 in one day, but I'm about to do 20. Oh, maybe it is closer to 15 because I only did half of that one row. So yeah, maybe 15 is more accurate. I should have big money today, though. One of the best I've probably ever seen. I don't think it gets much better than this. Let's just stop there. Yep. Did I break 10K? I broke 10K. I think have I seen that before? I can't remember. But that's a lot of moolah. Ba-na-na-na-da-da. I guess, of course, when we're talking about genres, too, like, it's also going to probably depend on, like, what do people really mean when they say Souls-like, you know? Because I'm sure it's kind of a newer concept. So some of this obviously could just be due to slightly different ideas on what Souls-like even means, you know? Who's to say that my understanding of the genre is the best? Dark Souls is not a Souls-like? Is that what you're trying to say? Yeah, just like... Actually, I've legit heard people say Metroid's not a Metroidvania, but I don't agree with that one either. But that's because I don't agree with the... statement that a Metroidvania game has to have RPG mechanics like Symphony of the Night to be a Metroidvania. 1, 2, but you guys have all heard that rant before. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right? Because you got your Wario Land 4 likes coming out. It is kind of interesting. Yeah. Yeah, so the concept, the idea behind that is people say because it's called Metroidvania, it has to be a game inspired by Super Metroid and Symphony of the Night. And that is to say, the ideas of Symphony of the Night is the RPG mechanics that it added to the Metroid formula. I don't agree with that. Honestly, I think Metroidvania games are mostly games inspired by Metroid. The Vania aspect just comes from the fact that they were some of the big games to do it, the second people to do it and popularize it. And then there's the simple fact that the term Metroidvania was actually just a term within the Castlevania community to describe Castlevania games like Metroidvanias, and Castlevania games that were the originals, the classic Vanias, and it was just a cool name that stuck. So it's more like the community coined the term coincidentally, and it just caught on. I don't think it was not originally used to describe all games that now fit under the umbrella of Metroidvania. So there's my quick rant again about it that I've given before. If you want to disagree, go ahead. But that's my thoughts on it. You all remember that? Was it IGN article? Winners, Dark Souls, comparing Dark Souls to Skyrim. In story, winner, Dark Souls. In gameplay, winner, Dark Souls. That was kind of famous back in the day, before Souls-like was even a term. Well, funny you bring up rogue, because some people, it's kind of the inverse. Some people think rogue-like has become too broad of a term. There's some people really like to make the distinction between rogue-like and rogue-lite, whereas nowadays everyone kind of just uses rogue-like for everything. I don't really care too much about... I feel like the traditional roguelike isn't really that common anymore, that calling everything a roguelike that has roguelite elements is kind of fine, personally. But I guess I can understand the frustration. The death of a genre name or change of a genre name is always frustrating. Maybe it's happening with Souls-like before my very eyes, and I'm the one kicking and screaming the whole way down. At this point, I feel like roguelike has just been so commonly adopted and taken the place of roguelite. And like I said, there's not really a strong place for the term roguelike anymore anyway with new games. The traditional meaning of roguelike. And I tend to not put up too much of a fuss about that one. Although if I was maybe speaking to someone who was passionate about it, I would be willing to use the terms roguelite and roguelike, as they would prefer it. I can understand the desire for the distinction, even if I don't know if I would use it. I've never played Rogue, but I have played NetHack, an actual traditional roguelike. I like it quite a bit. Honestly, I prefer it to most modern roguelikes. I forgot to pick up my cow tools again. I actually, if you go to my video or on Metroid, I think I have someone in my comments saying Metroid is not a Metroidvania because it doesn't have any of the Castlevania elements. There's still, I'm sure you could find still, like, traditional roguelikes that are made today, but... It is that weird distinction, though, Fear Navigator is talking about. The whole like thing. Because a lot of modern roguelikes are not like Rogue at all anymore. It's more just like there's these mechanics that came from Rogue that have been come to define what the roguelike is. Yeah, I don't believe... I'm trying to think. Unless you want to count, you know, upgradable HP through items as an RPG, but yeah. There are definitely some, like, indie Metroidvanias that are clearly take a lot of inspiration from Castlevania. Or just other Metroidvania games, not necessarily indie, like, you know, Bloodstained, Astalon. What's that one? Deedlit. But, no, I don't think you have to have, Yeah, it has kind of come oversaturated. I think I like the genre enough that I'm willing to experiment, and even ones I don't love, I still like. But I have found plenty that I love, too. Like I said, last year I discovered Zexion. I love that one. I don't know if that one's for everybody, though. I'll admit that one caters to my taste, maybe more than most. You got the Moonberry? Nice, Dr. Bop. Nice. He's talking about Celeste. He's been doing the DLC level for a while here. Yeah, I've heard of Caves of... how do you say that? Cud? Quud? I've heard of that one. Celeste is probably your favorite game that you're totally glad to be done with. No, you gotta go for golden strawberries now, Dr. Bop. Come on, do it. Well, this is my target day to end today on, I think, right? This is the 15th, or is that tomorrow? So I'm making progress on my estimation. Are you talking about 20XDX? I have that one too. That one's pretty fun. Unless you're talking about a completely different one. I haven't played the sequel yet, though. I kind of want to. Okay, I did milk all of those. Yeah, I haven't played 30XDX, but I want to play it. I had a friend who was maybe going to play it with me, so I was kind of waiting to see if he still wanted to do that, but I don't know. Maybe I'll just get it. It is not fall yet. It's only halfway through summer. My goal right now is to get through half of the big seasons of stream for my timeline. Or for, like, my estimates right now. Oh, it's only the 14th. I still have to do one more day after this, but I definitely will. Oh, I'm almost at wait. I think I've maxed out, because that's minus 12. So I think I literally have maximum grass. I don't think you can get above 999. I'll check today after I cut the grass. Of course, like with any genre, though, going back to Metroidvanias, you can point to games before Metroid that could probably fall or be qualified as a Metroidvania. No surprises there. Often it's the ones who, like, make the first big, like, popular one that really, tend to define the terms. Although I could understand, some people would maybe argue that Metroid isn't even a total Metroidvania until Super Metroid, but Super Mario Brothers is a Souls-like. It is pretty hard, right? On the Battle Royale train? Are you talking about, I'm actually not sure what you mean. Are you talking about like the 100 games? Like Tetris 100 or F-Zero 99, not 199 games. Is that what you're referring to? I feel like Nintendo's been doing the Souls-like thing recently. With Emerald Rush DLC, the Splatoon 3 DLC, not all of them. Oh, isn't the ZA DLC even like slightly run-based too? I haven't seen too much of it, but I feel like they've been doing that a little bit lately themselves. But, like, with DLC. I guess it's a way to make your, like, it's like a cheaper DLC to develop, probably. But add a lot of, it's like take the engine of your game and make an endless mode out of it. Did I say Souls-like or roguelike? I meant roguelike. I might have said Souls-like, though. I meant Nintendo's been doing roguelike with some of their DLC. Yeah, I haven't played the ZA DLC. I haven't brought myself to do it yet. I want the mythical Pokemon, but I didn't love ZA. And I've heard kind of mixed things about the DLC, and it is kind of pricey. So, like, I haven't bit the bullet on it. Dude. Get off the horse! Oh my goodness. I'm wasting so much time here. But who knows? Maybe I actually would like the content of the DLC better than the main game with ZA, based on what people don't actually like about it. Bum ba dum bum bum. I'm not crazy about ZA, but we've got fans here that like it. I think it's just not totally my thing. It's the aspects of Pokemon I don't like as much, without some of the aspects of Pokemon I do like more, so I don't think it's quite a catered to me kind of experience. Oh, you stupid horse walked away from me, dodged the tomato like a... He came out of a Matrix movie. I absolutely can keep up with the load here, which is crazy. So I think this is just day 2 of 3 now. I'm gonna probably call it there, though. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba. Right now, I've got the looming task of 100% in Kingdom Hearts 2 on my plate right now. So I'm like, I don't know how much other stuff, RPG-esque stuff I'm going to want to do after that either. I'm looking forward to the super bosses, not so much the 100%ing mini games and gummy ships. Also, if grinding for the ultimate weapon is going to be anything like grinding for the ultimate weapon in Kingdom Hearts 1, that'll be fun too. Kingdom Hearts 1, the super bosses were my favorite part of the game, so. They kind of take you do kind of have to learn them, though. Like, when you first play them, they just kind of whoop you, and then you have to just kind of figure out what's the way to play against them. I just beat the game for the first time on Sunday? I always end up with the same spot. I'm like watering and like all my timing is like the same. I'm in an infinite time loop. I like the Kingdom Hearts games. There's some things I don't like about them as much as some people do, but I've enjoyed my time with them. Definitely not my favorite franchise ever, but I could see myself sticking with it longer. We'll see. Maybe I'll get too burnt out by playing more of the spin-offs and stuff. Especially if Kingdom Hearts 2 is where it peaks for most fans. I like them enough that I want to stick with it for now. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, I think it's cool that he got in. I'm happy for fans of this series, but my confession is I kind of don't like that stereotype shonen protagonist very much. That's probably one of the things I don't like about the series as much as some people. So I find Sora just a bit obnoxious. But people do. It's the type that appeals to people. I can recognize that. So, I can respect it. I just found out they had nothing to do with the Disney Afternoon Gummy Bear show. How have I described the story to you? I don't even remember, Dr. Bob. I have a lot of beef with the story in Kingdom Hearts, but there's some elements that I do still like. I will confess. That's not true for the whole game, but yeah, I do kind of feel like I feel like they could do a lot better with the Disney worlds. They feel like worse retellings of the same stories with like a self-insert character kind of interjecting in, and I find that a little obnoxious. I wish there was more crossover with Disney worlds. I think that could have been fun. But I imagine some of that is just Disney not wanting them to do much outside of their original, like, intended purpose of the characters. So I can't completely blame them, but I do feel like if they had done new stories where we got to see, you know, how does this hero from this story interact with this hero from this story, it could have been more fun. I get why it didn't come to be, but I think it would have been more interesting to me personally. Do. And then, of course, like, as nonsensical as it can be, I still can kind of appreciate the other overarching story that Kingdom Hearts wants to tell, but it sometimes feels like, oh, you're doing the Disney stuff. Oh, now you're doing the Nomura, like, OC character stuff. There's a bit of a disconnect sometimes with the, it feels like the story that he wants to tell and then just the Disney stuff. I don't know. There's elements that work there, but it feels a bit messy sometimes. Do. I forgot to change out of my cow tools again. But there's actually, again, as ridiculous as it is to describe to someone, oh, this person's nobody when this person became a Heartless, and then yada yada yada, you know. There's parts of it that work though. I'm not actually gonna say I completely hate it, but there's just things that sometimes, I don't know, just don't always work. Ba-da-da-da-da. I have not played every game yet either, too, so we'll see. And I don't just, like, completely hate that it's a Disney Final Fantasy mashup, conceptually, but I think there's ways they could have done that would have worked better that they didn't entirely do. Like, I don't think the idea necessarily is a bad one. I'm just not sure how it actually plays out is fully taking advantage of what it could have been in that regard. Yeah, that was kind of interesting too, and I was actually I was a little worried that it would feel like revisiting Worlds would feel like it would be retreading too much of the same ground in Kingdom Hearts 2, but I actually didn't feel that way in the end. So that was nice. Ba-da-ba-bum. Yeah, I kind of wish they had, honestly, a little bit more freedom to go beyond kind of the base stories. I think I maybe would have liked it better in that way. If they had done that. Like, they did do a little bit of it, and I think I wish there was a bit more. In a general sense, too, while I'm trash talking Kingdom Hearts, I do feel like the writing can be a little awkward sometimes, too. I think some people, I don't know, they kind of like it, but the awkward pauses and the one-liners, I don't know. I want to get behind it and just enter into the moment, but I don't know, it takes me out of it sometimes. But I imagine that kind of, I don't know if you quite call it campiness or whatever, is probably it's appealing to people, but some of those hand motions. Makes me groan a little bit. Maybe I just don't have that sense of whimsy, though. Maybe it's a me problem. I do find it kind of funny too. Like, you can tell the quality of sometimes between, like, a voice when they got, like, an original Disney voice actor, and then you compare it to, like, I don't know, some of the Final Fantasy characters I feel like are just not the best, don't have the best deliveries of their lines. I feel like there's a pretty wide range in quality. I actually think Sora's voice actor does a pretty good job generally, though. Even if I don't love the character. Definitely not the worst offender in those games. Ba-ba-dum-bum-bum. Doo-doo. Now, if we're actually to finally talk about the gameplay, and not just the story, unfortunately, I kind of wish we had the combat of 2, but, like, the worlds of 1, maybe. Oh, what am I doing? I didn't feel like the worlds were maybe... they weren't terrible in 2, but I felt like they were a bit disappointing. But I did think the combat was a lot better in 2 than in 1. I don't think that's a thing most people just would dispute. By worlds, I mean more like level design, I guess. The level design of 1 is more what I'm trying to say. Two's got a little bit too much of you kind of go from one hallway to see the next cutscene to the next hallway, for my taste. But if one thing hasn't become clear, at least from this stream alone, is I kind of like my complex dungeons and worlds. I know not everyone does, especially for people who are just along for the story. Probably get tired of mazy worlds and stuff, but... I also feel, I will say, this is a general thing about me. I am not a fan of usually mini games and JRPGs, and both of them have quite a bit. Kingdom Hearts 2 more so, feels like, but... Well, a lot of that can be avoided if you really wanted to. Do-do. Oh, I think this is a Day of Nothing, right? No, wait, no. The Day of Nothing's in the middle, right? That's mini games and JRPGs definitely aren't a deal breaker for me. I'm just not crazy about them. It's one of the things I'm dreading about 100% in Kingdom Hearts 2. So why do I do it? Because I must. Well, I appear to have hit, I'm actually able to maintain all my crops this summer somehow. I've heard it be kind of a divisive thing about Rebirth, actually, is the mini games, the amount of mini games that are in it. Am I planning to play any more Kingdom Hearts franchise? Yeah, I at least want to finish the first collection, so I'm gonna play, and I'm gonna play the original DS or the DS versions of games instead of the cutscene compilations. So I'm probably gonna play. So I played 1, Rechain of Memories 2, and then I'm probably gonna play. Gosh, what are they? I can't even remember what they're called right now. They're so confusing. I think it. Wait, does it, actually I don't even remember what's on the first collection in the end. I think Birth by Sleep is one of the ones I'm gonna play. But I'm gonna play that in the collection. But I think I first need to play the 2 DS games first, right? Which is Recoded is one of them, I think. Oh, actually I don't remember. Yeah, 365 divided by 2 days, that one as well. Yeah. I think those are the ones I'm playing next. Once I get to that point, once I leave kind of the main, once I try out some of those side games, we'll see how I feel about the franchise then, if I want to keep going or not. I could see myself keep going. I'm liking them enough, even if they aren't my favorites. I am still enjoying them. That I want to keep going for now. Did you not enjoy Flagman with Tigger and Rechain? I don't think I did everything in Rechain of Memories. I'm not even sure I did that. I didn't do as much in Rechain of Memories. I did beat the what should we call it? Why can't I remember his name? Riku. I did the Riku story. All right, I have officially accomplished my target days for today. I have enough time to probably squeeze out one more. Oh, it's 58, right? Not, I don't even remember what it is. What I said before. Probably 65. That's what I plan on doing too, Fear Navigator. Yeah. I'd rather do that than just play cutscene compilations, personally. I haven't played the original Chain of Memories, but humorously, I'm going to in the challenge. It is the one Kingdom Hearts game that was published by Nintendo in, like, Europe or something. So I will be playing the original Chain of Memories. Kind of funny. I debated whether or not I wanted to play the remake until that point, or, like, if I should pause the whole franchise until I play Chain of Memories in the challenge, but I was like, you know what? I have the whole collection now. I maybe should I don't know. If they ever have released the full thing non-cloud on the Switch too, I maybe would have wished I bought it there instead of Steam, but whatever. I've bought it on Steam now. I only bought the first collection too. I know there's like the second one that has like Dream Drop Distance. A cutscene compilation I might actually watch because it's like the mobile games that you can't like even play or something anymore. I don't even remember. And then like a new short game before Kingdom Hearts 3. As well as maybe one other. I can't remember. Or maybe that's one of the... Whatever. I don't remember. Oh, I don't remember everything. There's another Kingdom Hearts game in there somewhere I think I'm forgetting. Oh, I forgot to switch to Cal Tools again. I'm playing them in release order as if the remakes were the original. So, original order of the stories being released. So, like, I know chronologically, I should have played a different one before Kingdom Hearts 2, but I didn't. I wanted to play them thematically from how they were told originally, even if I played Chain of Memories over Chain of Memories. Yeah, I mean, I've heard some people say, oh, but then you understand Roxas even more, but I feel like that's not how you originally were supposed to understand Roxas. Roxas was kind of designed with you not knowing his backstory at first, you know? That's how I tend to prefer to do things. I know that's not even how it's ordered in the collection, which is interesting. I think the collection ordered it chronologically, right? But I wanted to do it in the order of when the stories were first told. I already ruined myself by playing Lufia 2 before Lufia 1. That'll be interesting to finally play Lufia 1. Lufia 2 is a prequel to Lufia 1. So there's elements of Lufia 2 I didn't understand that would have been like... Or like there's things you would have known if you already knew Lufia 1, but I didn't. So... some interesting plot twists that weren't initially supposed to be that big a plot twist. I do want to play Lufia 1 soon, though. That's kind of up on the list of games I want to play soon. Even though I know it's not as considered to be as good as Lufia 2. I really liked Lufia 2, and I want to play Lufia 1 for the sake of the summary video. I wonder how much faster this would be if this place just wasn't so darn laggy. Do-do-do-do-do. Nenson Dubois, you don't want me to answer that, because then I'd have to explain you the story of Chain of Memories. And trust me, once you get started on trying to explain a Kingdom Hearts story... So yeah, Lufia 2 was only published by Nintendo in like Europe or something like that. So it was just it was like a one-off thing that Nintendo did. Lufia 1 was not, so I did not play Lufia 1 in the challenge. Neither of them were published by Nintendo originally. Another weird series, is it Bait and Kaidos? Like a prequel game that Nintendo published, but not the original? Isn't that another kind of weird situation like that? It's not the first time I've done it. I've played a few games connected to other stuff in the challenge. I played Trial of Mana, the recent official translation. After Secret of Mana. That's a sequel, though. And then I've also played, Soul Blazer, which was not directly connected to Terra Enigma and Illusion of Gaia, but it's kind of considered to be part of the same spiritual series made by Quintet. And I actually really liked it. I think those are some of my... As far as, like... I don't know. I mean, I guess I haven't played Final Fantasy VI and Chrono Trigger in the challenge, but I preferred the Quintet games and even Lufia 2 over Secret of Mana, which is kind of funny. Yeah, when you're like playing it one at a time, it's not so bad. At least so far. It probably gets worse, but I think it sounds worse to explain than it actually is to play. Probably. I don't know. I haven't played them all yet, so we'll see. Both Pokemon Sun and Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance. And then your 3DS SD card reader broke. Oh, what a bummer. This weed here is very poorly. Like, I don't really know what's in store for me after the nobodies, you know? Now that they're all poofed at the end of the second game. We'll see. Yeah, I could see that being a problem. The fact that the story kind of requires you to... Well, it doesn't require you, but it, like, heavily... It kind of... It's ambitious, to say the least. I think the fact that they made, like, some of them Nintendo exclusive and some of them Sony exclusive also doesn't actually help that matter very much. We'll see. I got slowed down by the weed there. It's not gonna be enough to stop this day from being a complete one, because it was pretty close, I think. This was the day, one of the days that was closest. Actually, if I miss one, that's fine. Well, it does mean I have to do one more. When you have an extra 3 like this, it's either gonna be 3 or 2 on one day, and or 3 on one day and 2 on the other. So if I don't do it today, I really have to make sure I get it next time. Tomatoes are supposed to be offset? What do you mean? There's one row where I've done half of it, if that's what you're asking, and the answer is yes. It's because I just can't do enough. I missed that corn. I saw it on the floor falling to pieces. Ooh, I don't know if I'm fast enough today to get all of them. Dude, can you stop running away? You're making this... Oh my gosh, this stupid horse. I'm gonna miss some of these. Oh my goodness, you are trying to make me fail today, aren't you? Move. I at least want to get these ones, these 6. Ah! Oh, I got 1. That's kind of annoying. I might just not water it, honestly. Yeah, so I missed 1 plot. That's okay. I, in theory, can get that in the next day, but we'll see if I actually do. Ba-ba-ba-bum, ba-na-na-na-na. Yes, Sphere Navigator, you get 0 money for it if you do that. Otherwise, you could just harvest everything at night. Oh, unless you mean out in the field. No, you said in the Dropbox. Yeah. So, leaving them out in the field like this is fine. But, leaving them in the box, they rot. Or they just, like, you don't make any money for it. They disappear. They get sent to the void. Only really worthwhile thing you can do with a fruit, or, I mean, a crop after the guys dropped by is give it as a gift. So, like, if I really wanted to, I could just give my wife 5 tomatoes and call it good, but... It's all veggies. All the fruit is up here in the forest. And who knows what the heck the fruit here is supposed to be anyway in the summertime. The green egg. Ta-da! Wait, did you do that in the Game Boy Color version? Maybe they've changed it. Interesting. We'll see, I guess, 'cause I am playing that one later. I'm definitely not taking full advantage of my garden, but, like, I couldn't do much more than this right now anyway. I'm almost maxed out for what I can handle in one summer. I could do more. I could have done more in spring or in spring, but I am definitely maxed out for summer. What day is it? The 16th. I have made it past halfway through the month. One extra day, even. So I am on pace. The big tell will be how long will fall and summer take me. I mean, fall and winter of year 2. Those are the question marks. I think we can pretty safely say it takes me about two streams to do a season. A spring-summer season. But spring-summer has crops, which is something that fall and winter does not. However, cows are year-round, and they are quite time-consuming, so we'll see how long it takes me. I think tomorrow I'll just barely touch fall at this rate. I don't have to buy any crops, too, so in theory I'll actually be a tad faster tomorrow than I was today. I feel like I'm seeing a lot of weeds. Boy. All right. Let me double check my cows, because I don't want to leave them hungry, but I'm pretty sure I did it. Yep. And that is another... day done. I don't think I get my next kid until fall, right? Or the end of fall, or start of winter. But I think maybe by the end of this month, the kid might go to the next stage of development. All right. That'll be all for today. Oh, so let me go and stop the timer.